roll up, roll up, roll up. Come and see all the abnormalities and weird wonders in Oddie's Cabinet of Curiosities. Watch the following trailers and you'll see what I mean.
Being born on a farm, I know the difference between raising something and it just growing. You raise tobacco and vegetables and pigs and sheep. They got purpose. You tend them. But weeds grow on their own, tended or not. I grew. I wasn't raised, that's for damn sure.
At a young age, Donald Gaskins was teased and given the nickname Pee-wee as a result of his small body frame. When he was 1 year old, Gaskins reportedly drank a bottle of kerosene, which caused him to have sporadic convulsions until the age of 3. Whether he was born bad or had it beaten and raped into him is debatable. Still, something was obviously wrong with Junior Parrot. He was pissed off at girls from his earliest memory, unable to explain the rage coherently. By the age of 10, he suffered from the onset of a lifelong bothersomeness, described as a feeling like
a ball of molten lead rolling around in my guts and up my spine and into my head.
Pee-wee eventually realized the best way to deal with this bothersomeness was his homemade cure, which unfortunately meant death for others. Glenn and Bessie Hyde were married in Twin Falls, Idaho on April the 10th, 1928. He was 27, she had just turned 18. At the end of summer that year, they constructed a boat for a planned honeymoon adventure, a trip down the Colorado River to California. Glenn was an experienced river rafter who wanted to set a new speed record for traveling through the Grand Canyon, which would have put Bessie in the book as the first documented woman to do so. Sometime during that trip, the young couple disappeared forever. What was supposed to be a record-breaking boat trip through the Grand Canyon turned into a mystery that remains unsolved nearly 100 years later. Glenn and Bessie were young and in love and had their whole lives ahead of them. All of it was lost on the Colorado River in 1928. The couple's disappearance has of course spawned many theories over the years. Join me as we try and put the pieces of the puzzle together. On an August day in 1921, roly-poly, rapidly rising Hollywood star Fatty Arbuckle is convinced by a friend he needs to let his hair down. They travel to San Francisco by car after having booked 3 rooms at the St. Francis Hotel. It was prohibition, but Fatty knew all the right people, and getting bootleg booze, and plenty of it, was no problem. There was no holding back, and Fatty and the other guests drink themselves silly in a very short time, including up-and-coming starlet Virginia Rapé. Virginia performs her usual party trick of stripping off. Soon after, she excuses herself and complains of feeling ill. She retires to Fatty's suite to recover, and shortly afterwards Fatty also enters the suite. What happens next is now legend. Join me on this journey back in time to a fledgling Hollywood where anything went, until you got involved in a scandal. After the presentation, I discuss the relative points of the case and share with you some hitherto unknown details which I have discovered during a microfiche search. As a child living in the country, Suzanne Valadon had no idea just how the fates would guide her life in such a fortunate way. Without a husband to be the breadwinner, Suzanne's mother moved to Paris to try and make ends meet and do her best to keep a roof over their heads. While her mother took in ironing, Suzanne found there was a demand for models to pose for the artists in Montmartre. She quickly became a favorite because of her poise and professionalism. Having taken up drawing as a child, this was a perfect opportunity for her to study the artist's techniques, and her own immense talent was nurtured. Although her professional life was overshadowed by the huge success of her son Maurice Utrillo, her paintings are now being discovered by a new generation. Her unique style and natural draftsmanship finally being recognized and given the status it truly deserves. The following presentation is about a severely disturbed French priest who committed such a vile double murder in the 1950s that it shocked all of France to the core. In July 1950, he was appointed parish priest of Uruf, a village of 392 souls. An active priest in the community and very much appreciated by his parishioners, he distinguished himself in particular by setting up a football team for the local boys, or by organizing excursions. On top of this, he financed cinema and theatre outings for his young charges. The village elders find this priest quite impressive, and the young people really take to his modern and open personality. Such a priest was unheard of. They find they can open up to him. He had become everyone's friend, confidant and advisor. My dear friends, little did the good people of the village of Uruf know is that Father de Noyer's fleshy temple had been taken over by a demon, who became increasingly stronger in his dominance and influenced Father de Noyer's thoughts and actions. The outcome would be tragic. Plus, in the after chat I provide some more interesting details, and as a bonus, I have found an old channel of mine on the Wayback Machine. Many moons ago, when I was deciding which channel I was going to go with, I was also experimenting with another one. I'm going to share that with you exclusively. So come join us on Patreon. This is the true story of a man who inherited his family home in Switzerland in the 1800s. Shortly after moving in with his wife, children and servants, they were plagued by unexplained phenomena. This included poltergeist activity and full apparitions. The head of the family believed it was the spirit of his vengeful grandmother. but others believed it to be the work of many spirits. The ghostly manifestations were witnessed by numerous people. The unrelenting supernatural activity not only drove him and the family out of the house, but drove the poor man insane. The mere shadow of his former self, he died shortly afterwards. Join me and my community on Patreon for the full documented account.
So come and be amazed, come and be shocked, and above all, come and be delighted. And you'll be supporting your favourite creator, the one and all, Oddie Beau. Don't miss out, my dears. Oddie needs you.